tell you something.
Because you were there with him on these marches. Will you apologise?
Radicalisation is calling for the Sharia nowadays. Radicalisation is exposing the British government. Radicalisation is commanding good, forbidding evil. We say, and we've always said, that we live here under a covenant of security. It's not allowed to target innocent people in return for our life and work being secure. And we've said that over the years.
Radicalisation
but the fact is the biggest radicalising factor is the British government and their foreign policy.
But radicalisation is also about justifying violence, isn't it?
No, it's not. Violence, a section of the community which expose their own policies. There's something called Islam. Islam calls for the Sharia. Islam says that people have a right to defend themselves.
Hello guys, how you all doing? Welcome back again to another reaction video. Guys, if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Cheese. Guys, I'm going to be reacting to this interesting video, and the title of this video goes like this: Douglas Murray on Channel 4 News. Guys, I'm so sure you're going to love and enjoy every bit of this, so let's check it out.
Well, I'm joined now by the radical cleric Anjem Choudhury, one of the founders of the controversial Islamist organisation Al-Muhajirun, and by Julie Siddiqui from the Islamic Society of Britain. Also joining us from Amsterdam is Douglas Murray from the Henry Jackson Society. And before we talk to all of them, we've unearthed footage tonight which shows one of the alleged terrorists, Michael Adebayo, at a protest by the now banned group Al-Muhajirun in 2007 outside Paddington Green Police Station in London. Anjem Choudhury was also on the march. So one of the suspects attended your marches, listened to your lectures. You therefore helped radicalise him. Will you apologise for what's happened down in Woolwich?
I'm not going to apologise for exposing the crimes of the British government in Iraq or Afghanistan.
That's not the question I asked. You helped radicalise
let me answer the question
suspect.
in my way. Radicalisation is a stick which is used to beat the Muslim community. The fact is that there is conflation between exposing the British foreign policy, between things like rendition, Guantanamo Bay, killing innocent men, women and children, which I have no apology for whatsoever.
But
and we will continue to expose.
You helped radicalise this suspect, and now a British soldier is dead on the Woolwich street.
Answer the question the way that I want to.
The question I'm asking is, you helped radicalise him
let me just tell you something.
Because you were there with him on these marches. Will you apologise?
Radicalisation is calling for the Sharia nowadays. Radicalisation is exposing the British government. Radicalisation is commanding good, forbidding evil. We say, and we've always said, that we live here under a covenant of security. It's not allowed to target innocent people in return for our life and work being secure. And we've said that over the years. But the fact is the biggest radicalising factor is the British government and their foreign policy.
But radicalisation is also about justifying violence, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Will you take some responsibility for what has happened on the streets of Woolwich?
Pejorative like radicalisation, fundamentalism, extremism is used by the British government to silence a section of the community which expose their own policies. There's something called Islam. Islam calls for the Sharia. Islam says that people have a right to defend themselves. And that's what we propagate. We don't propagate something outside of Islam.
Douglas Murray, how should the government respond to the kind of things that Anjem Choudhury is saying there?
Well, it's very difficult in a way for the government because Al-Muhajirun and its offshoots have already been banned. Its offshoots have been banned for many years. And this group, of course, and its activities predate 9/11. And I think it's very important to remember that Amer Mirza was convicted, first a member of Al-Muhajirun, was convicted in 1998 for his attempt to firebomb a British Army barracks. There have been a spate of attacks. We've worked out that about 20% actually of convictions, of Al-Qaeda-related terror convictions in this country, have a linkage with Al-Muhajirun and with Mr. Choudhury.
OK, Douglas, let me put that point direct to Anjem Choudhury. I mean, that's quite an astonishing figure. I mean, you take some responsibility for that, don't you?
No, not at all. I think that you need to make a distinction between legitimate political and ideological struggle, which we have been doing for about 15 or 20 years in this country. You know, I've never been arrested. I've never been arrested for organising any terrorist activities, any kind of military bases or anything like that. And the reality is that people we come across, we have a huge number of demonstrations and processions and activities. And of course, we come across many people. People may leave our own activities and do things outside of that, and we're not going to be accountable for that.
But there is nothing legitimate about radicalising Richard Dart, who plotted to bomb Wootton Bassett. How many jihadists have you? How many jihadists have you influenced? How many people have they killed?
Richard Dart was in prison for 9 or 10 months. He faced a choice between having about 20 years in prison or taking a plea bargain. He made a couple of phone calls. He typed a few things on a computer.
Wait.
The fact that he was forced to plead guilty doesn't mean that he was planning anything at all.
In court, you radicalised him. It was said in court that you radicalised Richard Dart.
Please.
How many jihadists would you say you radicalised?
For the British government and their own media wing, radicalisation is calling for the Sharia. Radicalisation radicalization is exposing their murderers in Muslim countries. Radicalization is saying that we want the Sharia. The fact is that, you know, these kind of terms are used to demonize the Muslims and to justify your foreign policy.
Okay, Julie Siddiqui, let me bring you in. What's your response to what you've heard there?
Well, I just want to first of all give my condolences and thoughts to the family, friends and the people of Woolwich, really, the family and friends of Lee Rigby. Of course, today we're seeing the, you know, face to a name, really, and it makes it even more horrific and very, very sad what we saw on our streets unfolding yesterday. You know, I think really all of us, any decent people in this country will realise that this kind of rhetoric has no place whatsoever in this country. You know, what we saw yesterday and what we're seeing with the likes of the English Defence League, you know, for me, in both ends, they are trying to divide this country in a way that we won't stand for. You know, the good hundreds and thousands of good people in this country, you know, Al-Muhajirun and any of his offshoots have always only ever had tens of people, not hundreds, not thousands. You know, so really representing a very, very small number of people in this country.
And you mentioned the EDL there. I mean, there have been some mosques targeted by the far right. Do you think Muslims, mainstream Muslims, are fearful today?
I mean, I think Muslims do feel vulnerable today, and, you know, some mosques were attacked yesterday and we're hearing all sorts of other stories coming through. And, of course, we have to all remain calm and measured to make sure that these things don't escalate any further, because that's obviously something that we don't want to see in this country either. So I think Muslims do feel vulnerable today, but I think the overwhelming majority of Muslim organisations and individuals have come out in full force today to absolutely condemn and say that this kind of action has no place whatsoever in this country.
Douglas Murray, David Cameron said that these attacks will bring people together. Are we not terror-struck as a country?
No, I don't think so at all. I'm not terror-struck. You're not terror-struck. Almost none of the British nation, I should think, is terror-struck. What we are is united in disgust, Muslims and non-Muslims. You know, it's extraordinary, really, for most of us, because we've all witnessed Mr. Chowdhury and his group for many years trying to provoke the British people. He's got on his record not only these huge swathes of people that he has helped to radicalise, but of course he's also created the English Defence League, an incredible double whammy achievement for one individual. But you know, one of the things that's most interesting in this is the continual provocation of Mr. Chowdhury does not persuade and will not persuade most of us to believe that most Muslims are like Mr. Chowdhury. They are not. Most Muslims in this country are utterly disgusted by him and his actions. And the important thing to remember for non-Muslims is not to be provoked by Mr. Chowdhury, not even when he says, as he did earlier this year, that his £25,000 a year that he gets in benefits from the British state is what he calls Jihad seekers allowance. If I may make one point.
Okay.
Mr. Chowdhury was almost certainly better paid than drummer Rigby. That fact is something that we should mull on and, I would suggest, sort out swiftly.
Anjem Chowdhury, I mean, these suspects viewed the soldiers generally, as legitimate targets. Do you?
Well, let me just say, first of all, that Douglas Murray...
Wait a second.
Douglas Murray is talking rubbish. I'm not getting 25k a year.
We'll leave
I'm
that
not
aside.
on JSA for your information.
Leave
Check
that
your
aside.
facts.
Yeah, we'll
and she's wrong as well. We don't have 10 or 100 members. We have many.
Right.
But the point
These
is,
suspects,
soldiers who are fighting in Afghanistan, obviously the people have the right to defend themselves. So what we say in Britain is that we have a covenant of security. In return for our life and wealth being protected, it is not allowed for Muslims to target the life and the wealth of the people with whom we live. But I tell you something.
Okay.
The people who are oppressing the Muslims is the British government. The people who are banning ideological and political struggle are the British government. They don't allow people to express themselves.
Chowdhury, you've had your time. You've had your say. Thank you very much. We have to move on now.
Oh, guys, what a nice clip from this channel, guys. Like, oh my God, there have been a lot of you know, a lot of attack between the Hamas and the Israel. Guys, sometimes I ask myself, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? Because a lot of innocent souls, they have been involved. Guys, like there is this particular video that I posted earlier, and someone was like, okay, that the Hamas, that they have the right to, you know, to defend themselves. I think someone was asking Ben Shapiro, yes, if they don't have the right to defend themselves. Guys, like even if you are, to me, even if you are defending yourself, The question is, how are you defending yourself? How are you fighting back? How are you defending yourself? Is it in a positive way or in a negative way? Like that thing that you are even defending yourself for, does it really worth it? Let's say that someone did something that is little to you, something that is not even up to to trigger your anger, and at that point you will just take a radical, you will just trigger your anger and you will just take a nasty decision by defending yourself in a very, very wrong way. Guys, like there have been a lot of protests. The college students, they have been protesting, people have been lamenting, and I don't know when all this is going to end. For God's sake, guys, they should stop this. Each time, guys, I cry for the innocent one. Each time I sow you for the innocent one. What is going on? What is going on? When is all this going to end? When is it going to end? Because I believe that most people that have been involved in this, it have been the innocent one so far. Yes, it have been the innocent one. The innocent one has been the one involved. The innocent one. For God's sake, we are all one. Oh, guys, like what happened in Israel last time, I think in October 7, 2023. Guys, when I watched that video, guys, oh my God, I felt so sorry. My heart was so heavy to see that news. My heart was so heavy to see, because a lot of the innocent one, they were involved. They were really involved. And guys, I just pray that that the Hamas that they will come to realization, to realize that there is nothing more good than living in peace. Yes, both the Hamas and the Israel, yes, it's good to to live in peace. Guys, what do you think about this video? What do you think about it? So even if that what is taught in Islamic is the Hamas is to teach them how to defend themselves, I think they should defend themselves in a positive way. Yes, in a positive way. And because, guys, like I have witnessed a lot of things that someone will even do a little thing that is not even up to anger, and the person will just take a drastic decision. That is, the person will do more than, he will do worse than what you have done to that particular person. Like, to me, I said it before, that is the innocent one that have been involved in this. The innocent ones, they have been the one that have been involved. For God's sake, guys, like, for how long are we going to continue talking about this? For how long? For how long? The Hamas and the Israel. Guys, I just pray that that they come to a very good realization, yes, and make it up, and know that that there is nothing more better than living in peace. Guys, what do you think about this video? What do you think about it? I'm going to be in the comment section to reply to all your comments, okay? So please don't forget to hit on the like button, and stay tuned. I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.